Jets fans, welcome back to the channel here at Utility Sports. We're going to be coming at you with an NFL mock draft today focused on the New York Jets. Of course, the New York Jets are my favorite team. They had a 4-13 season under first-year head coach Robert Saleh, and I think there were quite a few positives to pick away from this team, but there's also a lot of areas to improve, and luckily for the Jets, they have a ton of draft assets. You're looking at 2 in the top 10, 4 in the top 40. There's a ton of different ways this New York Jets team can improve. So in today's mock, we're going to talk about certain avenues for this team to get better and also what I could see for them in free agency a little bit. We're going to just talk about where I think this team could improve. We have about $50 million in salary cap space, and there's a ton of different things that the Jets can do to get more competitive for next season, hopefully get closer to that 7, maybe 8 win threshold and start to push for a playoff run a couple years down the road. I definitely think that's a possibility. Joe Douglas has been a really good GM in his short tenure thus far with the New York Jets. He's made some really good draft selections. And I think there is a very high ceiling on what this Jets team could be a few years down the road, assuming that Zach Wilson continues to develop and really proves that he is that guy. So let's go ahead and jump into it here. Again, we're going to be doing a 7-round mock draft here, which is the new standard on the channel for the offseason. Once we kind of know where teams are picking, we're going to stick to the full 7 rounds. So here we see Evan Neal, Kyle Hamilton, and Derek Stingley go off the board, which is extremely interesting because it opens up our options here on draft day. I don't think that Hamilton will go 2nd overall, and I don't think Stingley will go 3rd overall. But given what's gone in front of us, we're going to just go with what's available on the board. Remember, I'm not making the selection for the other teams. I'm making the selections for the New York Jets based on what's on the board here. And we have Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Ike Ekwonu, really the top 3 guys available at this point. And for me, I got to hit Aiden Hutchinson up. If he's available at pick 4, they need to take him. He's too good of a pass rusher. You can play him at either edge position. I think this works really well because you probably play Carl Lawson at right end, come play Aiden Hutchinson at left end, and those two become a extremely dynamic and scary duo off the edge. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, one of the best pass rushers in this year's class, if not the best pass rusher in this year's class, and that's what the New York Jets need. They need to get after opposing quarterbacks a little bit more. A selection of Aiden Hutchinson, and if Carl Lawson can come back to full strength next season for the New York Jets, you're going to see a lot of improvement in that defense, specifically helping those young cornerbacks in pass protection, or in pass coverage, because they're going to be getting after the quarterback just a fraction of a hair quicker, and that does make all the difference in the world at the NFL level. And then here we are at pick 10. We see Malik Willis went off the board, Kayvon Thibodeaux as well, Ajabo, Ekwonu, and Cross all went after our pick at number 4. So here now at this point for the Jets, we've already addressed edge. I think there's a few different ways we could go. I think that offensive tackle is a real possibility. I think we could really consider wide receiver. Anywhere across the offensive line. For example, a guy like Tyler Linderbaum sitting out here. Would it be crazy for Joe Douglas to take another offensive lineman? This would be his 3rd NFL draft with the New York Jets, and to have 3 first-round offensive linemen. Is that crazy or is that smart? Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. I think Tyler Linderbaum would be the offensive lineman he would opt for at this point. I don't think tackle's as big of a need as interior offensive lineman when I specifically look at center and right guard. I think those are the 2 areas where we can improve most. Given the fact that George Fant played really well last year at left tackle, and then we also have Mekhi Becton. We got 2 tackles I trust going forward. So for me, it's about trying to find interior offensive line help, wide receiver help. I think also cornerback could be in play, and had Kyle Hamilton not went off the board, I would have considered him strongly at 4 as well. I know tight end's a big need, but I'm not taking one pick 10. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's look at the cornerback room here. Ahmad Gardner's here, and I really like him. I would really think about this if I am Joe Douglas. We also have wide receivers out here, Treylon Burks, Jameson Williams, who of course is dealing with a little bit of a knee injury. Garrett Wilson out here as well. For me at this point, I am going to offer Treylon Burks just because I think he is a dynamic wide receiver. We can get the ball in his hands, can play outside the numbers, can catch the ball, make big plays happen, which I think is going to be huge for Zach Wilson, helping him out a little bit. It's hard for me to not go Tyler Linderbaum there because I think putting him in at the center position would be actually huge for this Jets team long-term. When you look at their long-term window, it would definitely help their offensive line immensely. But I think ultimately going with someone like a wide receiver like Treylon Burks, you can't go wrong with that. He's going to be huge for this offense, helping move the ball down the field, can make a ton of big plays happen. He's also a little bit built like a running back with his ability to shut off guys. He's compact, strong, got a good body, and I think he's going to be a huge impact player for the New York Jets if they took him 10th overall. which now leaves us here at 35. So into the second round, there's a few things we can look for. Cornerback Trent McDuffie's out here. He would make some sense. We also have Zion Johnson out of Boston College. If we wanted to go and get a right guard, he would be a phenomenal option to do so. Let's also look at the cornerbacks here now available at this point. We have Roger McCreary out here as well. Kaiir Elam, he's slid a little bit. Darian Kendricks out here. What I think I'm going to do here, let's go back to all. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to opt for Zion Johnson. He's a very good guard. I think he's going to be someone who athletically can get out in space and also is going to be a really, really solid option just to fold in that guard position. I'm going to take Zion Johnson here. I'm going to play him at right guard, really try and shore up the offensive line. And then from there, kind of opens up the avenues for the New York Jets to do a bunch of different things. For example, Roger McCreary still here. You have to really think hard and long about him as an available player. Kenneth Walker III. I know the Jets drafted Michael Carter. I love what Michael Carter can be. I was really high on him coming out of UNC. But Kenneth Walker, he'd be a really nice spell guy to him as well. You do have 4 picks in the top 40, so you do have a little bit of luxury here if you do want to take a guy like him. But ultimately, at the end of the day here with what's going to be available, you have to go tight end. It's going to be Trey McBride out of Colorado State. He's easily the best tight end in this year's class. He was a volume tight end, also was able to take the ball deep down the field. He's a 20-20 type of guy. Didn't have a ton of red zone success, only 1 touchdown this past year for Colorado State. But he's also really good in the run game. He's essentially a 6th offensive lineman with his ability to finish off plays in the run game. He's going to be able to put guys on their backside. And he's a rare breed at tight end. Kind of reminds me of a few other really good tight ends that we've seen historically. When you look at what he can do, he's kind of the complete package, Rob Gronkowski type of player. Now, he's not going to be nearly as good as Rob Gronkowski. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's going to be Gronk, but he's someone who is going to be effective in the pass and run game, which is an extreme luxury to have at tight end. Even when you think last year, Kyle Pitts, the 4th overall pick, not really a great run blocking tight end. So to get someone here at pick 38 in Trey McBride who can help you in both facets of both run and pass, that's huge for the New York Jets. Now here at 69, Bernhard Raimann still on the board, which is crazy to me. I think he's a first-round level player. So even though I said I don't think we need to take a tackle, if he's available, you take him here. So I'm not going to overthink that. Bernhard Raimann out of Central Michigan, he is really, really great. He's going to be great in the run game. Former tight end, so he's extremely athletic, and I think pretty new to football as well. He's an Austrian-born player, and I think coming into the New York Jets, if you can grab him in round 3, that's an instant no-brainer. And so far, I'm feeling really good about everything we have selected. Just looking at what we've been able to grab: Aiden Hutchinson, Treylon Burks, Zion Johnson, Trey McBride, and Bernhard Raimann. The only issue with this is we've gone with 4 offensive players. So maybe Robert Saleh would want a little bit more impact for his defense. But we did spend the 4th overall pick on one in Aiden Hutchinson. He's a huge one. You also look at Carl Lawson coming back as a big-time plus. And now for the Jets here, pick 109. We're going to have to look here and see if we can find anything that we really like at this point of the draft. Let's go to the cornerback room. Josh Jobs out here. We have a few other interesting options as well at this point. Let's go ahead over to the safety spot, which I do think is an actually big-time need that not a lot of people are talking about for the New York Jets. I think they're going to look in free agency to see if there's a way that they can patch it up at least. But at some point in the draft, I think they do have to take one. I just don't like what I have on the board here at this point, though, unfortunately. And then linebacker here, I'm actually going to opt for a guy like Jack Sanborn, who I think is just someone who's going to come in, make plays, and be really everything that you need him to be and to do in the middle of a defense. Put him next to CJ Mosley, shore up that linebacking core a little bit more. And here we are again at 115. Let's see if we can find someone who can help us as a running back. Hassan Haskins is here. He's a very nice piece. If we were to bring him in, Zamir White as well. At this point, I'm actually going to opt for Zamir White out of Georgia. Georgia running backs have a really good track record of succeeding in the NFL, and I think this would be another example of that here with Zamir White. He's used to sharing carries in the backfield as well with James Cook there in Georgia, and I think if you bring him into the New York Jets, he's going to be fine being a secondary running back behind Michael Carter. You get him some touches, he's going to be effective and efficient, and the Jets do need to find an RB2 at some point in this draft, and I think getting Zamir White here at the point we got him is pretty good value as well. As we continue moving on here to pick 145. Again, more options out here. I don't think we need to look at the running back position any longer. So let's see what else we got out here. There's some cornerbacks available. We also have some interior defensive linemen, which I don't think that's the biggest need here for the New York Jets. I think I do want to go back to the cornerback room and see what we do have at this point available to us. Joe Douglas has done a really good job addressing the cornerback room in later rounds 5 through 7. He's done a very good job addressing that room. So I think maybe he sticks with that philosophy here and tries to take another one this late. Jalen Watson out of Washington State, he's the interesting one to me here. Washington State actually has been able to produce quite a few pro players throughout their history, especially as of late, mostly quarterbacks, but they've had a pretty good track record of success in the NFL. So I think going with the guy like him here at this point in Jalen Watson out of Washington State, pick 145, pretty good. And still in round 5 here, we're at pick 162, and we're going to be looking all over the place here for more options to help us out. We already grabbed a running back, and we've done a really good job staggering our picks. So I think what I want to do here is maybe look for a situational pass rusher. At this point, someone like Amari Barno could make some sense for sure. Jeremiah Moon, who's pretty athletic out of Florida, I would strongly consider him. Linebacker, there might be some other solid options out here. Nephi Sewell out of Utah. At this point, I think I want to go back to the edge spot here, and I want to go with a guy like Jeremiah Moon out of Florida, just based off his athleticism. You're not exactly sure what you're going to get from Carl Lawson his first year back, so bringing in another guy who can relieve him of some downs could be really beneficial for this team, and Jeremiah Moon out of Florida could be a really good option for that. Now, I know Jets fans a little cautious about Florida edges because of Ja'Kai Polite, but this is a different story. You're getting him a little bit later, and I think there is a little bit better upside here at this point, just given the fact where you're getting him and also what he's going to be athletically. And you don't need him to be a starter. You need him to be a situational guy. You bring him in on a couple second or third downs and hope that he can make an impact in his role. Looking at what we've been able to grab so far, I am very, very happy with this overall pull. Aiden Hutchinson, Treylon Burks, Zion Johnson, Trey McBride, Bernhard Raimann. That's a huge pickup at pick 69. Jack Sanborn, Zamir White, Jalen Watson, Jeremiah Moon. I mean, we've addressed tons of positions, and I feel like we've done actually a really great job with everything we've been able to draft so far. Let me know your thoughts so far on the draft up to this point. Of course, we are still simulating. We'll see, do we have any more picks coming up here soon? Let's keep looking. It's a little difficult with that, but again, here's our pulls so far. I feel really good. The only thing I wish I would have maybe grabbed is a safety. I think that we need one of those, and I would have also liked to look in the punter area for a guy like Matt Riza, who is going to be very, very nice in the NFL just because of what he has as a leg. Played for San Diego State, the Aztecs this year, and has an absolute cannon when it comes to kicking the football. He can send the ball flying. So I think he's actually going to be a pretty nice player. We see Brock Purdy actually go here in round 7, which is interesting. The Jets, they have a ton of draft assets, and I feel like we did a really good job actually addressing some of the needs on this team. Bubba Bolden goes pretty late. That's a pretty interesting pickup as well. He'd be someone I'd be interested in the Jets moving back up into the draft for. But again, at this point, these are the players we were able to grab. Aiden Hutchinson, 4th overall. 10th overall, we went with Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Pick 35, Zion Johnson out of Boston College. 38, Trey McBride, tight end out of Colorado State. This is a huge need for the New York Jets, and I think this is the best way to shore up that position. You also look at Bernhard Raimann, 69th overall. That's too good of value. He's not going to be there at that point in the actual NFL draft, but since he was there on my board, I had to take him. Then you have Jack Sanborn, Zamir White, Jalen Watson, and Jeremiah Moon. So again, I think a really good draft haul. Jets fans, give me a grade on this draft. On a scale of A to F, let me know what you think for this draft for the New York Jets. I think this is probably an A- level grade here, just given the fact I didn't address safety, probably bumps it down from what I think would have been an A or A+ level draft. But at the end of the day, still, I feel like I did a good job addressing a ton of needs. This Trey McBride pick is huge, getting way better along the offensive line with both Zion Johnson and Bernhard Raimann. And then Treylon Burks and Aiden Hutchinson, again, 2 really good pickups, in my opinion, in round 1. The Jets are well positioned. We'll see exactly what Joe Douglas can do with this team. Let me know your thoughts again in the comment section. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's mock draft video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.